1,000 candidates who start the KCPE exams will gain admission into national schools. The Form 1 selection for national schools was conducted today, with the government projecting a 98.4% transition rate into secondary schools for the more than 1 million candidates who start the exams. The government has set aside 16 billion shillings for infrastructure development to cater for the increasing numbers.
15 days after the KCPE exam results were released, the second round of anxious moments for candidates, placement into secondary schools. 1,038,000 candidates sat the exams, with the government promising to ensure a 100% transition rate into secondary school. Of the candidates, 16,000 will miss admission into secondary schools.
The key objective of the 100% transition policy is to ensure improved access, improved retention and the completion of secondary school education by all our learners.
The selection process is based on merit, equity, affirmative action and school choice. 31,000 students will get admission into the 103 national schools, 12,000 of them having scored over 400 marks. The country's top candidate, Olive Mwea Wachira, who scored 453 marks, has been admitted to Kenya High. The other top candidate, Rollins Odhiambo, will be joining Alliance High School. The top female candidate with special needs, Charlotte Gerono, has secured a slot at Alliance Girls. The top male candidate with special needs, Bilda Donon, will join the Alliance High School. The 2019 admissions will come with new policy guidelines. School heads will be required to digitally inform the ministry headquarters, who has reported on a daily basis.
Once they report and you have cleared and you have gone through the admission process, you go and say so-and-so has reported. And we know it in Jogo. And we'll be able to see who has not reported.
In cases where students fail to take up their slots, they can only be replaced with the approval of Jogo House.
So you will list that these ones did not report. We are replacing with these ones. You key them into the system and request. Then somebody will accept them. Then upload the letter. So there will be no handling of hard copies of letters.
And that is not all. The ministry will keep a record of admissions into private schools, which are expected to admit 60,000 students.
So that we know who was elected to go to Alliance, never went to Tabara instead. So we know that there is space.
To cater for the rising numbers in its 100% transition rate, the government has set aside funds for infrastructure development in free-day secondary schools.
This will provide secondary schools with access to Kenya shillings 16 billion towards infrastructure improvement.
Selection of schools at the regional level will begin in 2 days. Form 1 students are expected to report to school between the 7th and 11th of January 2019. With a 98.4% transition rate, the government has achieved another first. The new policy guidelines will change how things work when it comes to admissions. Public school heads will no longer have any leeway, and for private schools, Jogo House will also be watching. Rita Tinina, KTN News.